Hi, I'm Terri McCarthy. I'm at the Cool Tool Studio today, and I will be demonstrating how to use delicate patterned wire into a pair of French earwire earrings. I'll be demonstrating how to solder this thin fancy wire onto another piece of sterling silver. These will become earrings. I like to have an interesting texture on the back of my pieces as well as the texture that I'm going to add to the front. So I have sanded the back of my fancy wire to get it clean, and I have sanded the back part of the textured metal, and I'm just going to take some easy paste solder and apply it very sparingly to the back of the fancy metal, the fancy sheet. And you don't need a lot. It's a thin piece of fancy wire that's going to be soldered to, this is 22 gauge sterling silver. So we're going to concentrate the heat around the larger piece of metal. Press it down, have good contact. So I'm applying my heat to the outer edge of the large piece of metal. And you'll first always see your paste solder smoke, and that's the binder of the paste solder burning off. I pass my torch over the center of the piece. And I work slowly and I pull my torch away. I don't want to melt down the thin layer that I have on top of a heavier piece of metal. You can see it glint. And now what I want to watch for is some solder to flow around the outer edge of this applique. Okay, but one more push. And we're done. Take my applique and I'm going to quench it in water, and then it will go to the pickle pot to be cleaned up. The piece that I just soldered has come out of the pickle, and it has been brass brushed with soapy water to clean it up. I'm not going to give this earring a little form, so I've got my swage block and the little dapping punch, and I'm going to gently tap down with my weighted rawhide hammer, and it's going to give it a very slight curve. Okay, now we're ready to solder on our earring back. Okay, I have set up my sterling earring, and I'm going to be soldering on a French wire. I have fluxed my wire. I have fluxed the outside of the sterling silver tubing, and I have a little pallion of solder sitting here at the end of my 20 gauge wire that's run through the sterling silver tubing. So what I'm watching for here is the solder to ball and then flow, and it will attach the silver wire and the tubing all at once. I like to then run the flame along the outside edge of my silver tubing to see that it's flowed all the way through. So I am now connected. What I have done here in my setup is something that I do a lot in soldering exercises. Instead of using binding wire, I just make these simple nickel sheets of metal, and I get them very dirty with a torch so that solder will not stick to them. But what it did was it lifted the level of this wire level with the piece that I was soldering. So now this is ready to get cleaned up and put in the pickle, and then we'll go back to forming your ear wire. Okay, my earring has come out of the pickle. It has been brass brushed. It has been patinaed with liver of sulfur. And I'm now going to form my French wire. I have this little forming pliers, which has a half curve on one side, and it drops into the curved top of this pliers. So I'm going to place it about 1/8 of an inch beyond the earring. And as I shape this, I'm going to be bending my wire and gently pressing down on the forming plier at the same time. I'm then going to take this wire, take my flat flush cutter, and I'm going to cut the wire to the length that I need. The end of this wire is very sharp and could hurt somebody's ear. So I've loaded a cut burr into the flex shaft. I'm going to lubricate it with a little burr. Line up the end of that 20 gauge wire into the burr. And because the teeth are on the inside of a cut burr, it's finishing off the edge end of that wire so that it's comfortable to go through somebody's ear.
Visit our Learning Center at cooltools.us for more cool jewelry making videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to sign up for our email list to be the first to hear about new videos, new products, and other cool stuff from Cool Tools.